Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for a jam-packed edition of Union Pine Sports Time. My name is Justin Blackburn. Glad to be back with you, Coach. And as always, here with me, Coach Matt Quinn. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Justin. The real question, and some of our fans and parents and community knows, but we preach family in this program, and you and your family is now part of our family. So if you could just give a brief update on how everything's going with your wife.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. So last Sunday, my wife was involved in a pretty serious head-on collision on her way to work. She suffered a broken left femur and broken right wrist. Both of them had to be repaired surgically. But I am very, very happy to report that she was able to come home Friday evening. She's in good spirits.
Great.
It feels good to be back home, Coach. It was definitely a scary week, an emotional week. But like you said, the family, the support has been just overwhelming. And we definitely couldn't have done it, without the Viking community, without our church community. Everybody just has pitched in and given us their love and support and prayers. So we really appreciate that, Coach. Thank you.
Our football team was thinking about you the entire time, Justin, and we're glad to have you back here.
Yeah, Coach, glad to be back. Thank you so much. So after the introduction, we got two games to cover this week, and the first one we want to start off with is the St. Paul's game recap. That game ended with a score of 48-39, and this is Coach Quinn's very first win as a Viking, and so Coach, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
We were hoping that it would come there in the first week, but the second week game, man, I think you guys kind of went off. If I remember correctly, 435 yards of total offense. And your passing game was just on point.
Our passing game was clicking, Justin. Josh Polidori did a great job. He had a great week of practice leading up to that game. Ended up throwing for 5 touchdowns to multiple receivers. So our offense had a great night throwing the ball.
258 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 12 of 18 in his attempts. I mean, Coach, you don't see games like that very often. That's incredible.
That's almost flawless.
Yeah, almost a flawless game there from Polidori. Eberhardt, we're going to talk about him a little later in the second game, but 180 yards with 24 attempts, that's almost professional, type stats right there. That's a heck of a game.
Eberhardt carries the load. Everybody knows about Justin because of what he's done and the stats that he's put up, but that offensive line for both of these games that we're going to talk about has done a great job of leading the way, and they take pride in all those rushing yards. They actually account those rushing yards for themselves.
That's right. I'd be putting some of those yards down for the O-line, no doubt. One of the receivers, 4 receptions for 102 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's Brandon Deloach. His longest was a 62-yard reception. And looking through the stats as well, all the receivers with double-digit yards, Coach, that's incredible.
Yeah, we spread the ball out pretty well against St. Paul's. We had 5 or 6 receivers that actually caught a pass, which is almost unheard of at the high school level. So Josh is doing a great job of making his reads and getting it to the guy that it's supposed to go to.
And I've noticed that from the first home game and then not being able to come to the 2 away games, but I noticed that Josh is very much he likes to watch things develop. And he can get the ball and feed the ball into positions, that there's no way I would be able to do it, ever.
He's doing a great job of making quick decisions.
His vision is incredible.
The week one, his first game jitters, his decision-making was a little bit off from what we had seen through practices. He kind of settled in games 2 and 3 and made quick decisions and got the ball out.
Absolutely. That's what we'd like to see, getting better every game. So talking about the defense there, we had Kamal Fairley, 15 tackles. He had 2 interceptions, 1 pick six, and he also had a 2-point conversion.
Yes, Kamal Fairley did everything that we asked of him. He was all over the field, making tackles, picking balls off, took one of them to the house for a touchdown, and also a 2-point conversion to his credit. That's a big-time night for a linebacker to score 8 points.
Heck yeah, it is. So continuing with the defensive effort, over 12 on defense, registering with the tackle. We had 4 interceptions. We had Chandler Barber and Keaton Tranel in with the interceptions as well. Kamal had 2 of those.
Kamal with 2, Barber with 1, and Tranel with 1 against St. Paul's. Our defensive effort was pretty good that night. 12 guys having a tackle. That's pretty impressive numbers for a defense.
Everybody's all over the field making it happen. That's what you want to see, Coach.
Yes, absolutely.
Everybody's involved going at it. So I think we've exhausted the St. Paul's game, man. I don't know, coming off of that loss, we're not going to talk about it because you said we weren't, but the East Montgomery game, and then coming off of a game like that, and then putting up these numbers against St. Paul's, Coach, what a turnaround.
They really focused, and they really focused on the mistakes, took care of all the things that they needed to take care of to turn it around. So obviously the St. Paul's, the score and the stats showed the effort and the intensity that they had all week long in practice.
And so if you couldn't do a better effort against St. Paul's, we go to the Providence Grove game now. And good gracious, Coach, 62-35 as a final score. 110 points scored in 2 games against 74 from your opponents. I mean, these numbers are just incredible. Anything you'd like to say from the week from St. Paul's to Providence Grove?
St. Paul's week was more of a passing week. Providence Grove, we ran the ball a lot more, and we'll get into some of those stats, but that's just a credit to our offense being dynamic. We don't want to give away that we're a passing offense. We don't want to give away that we're running offense. We are going to take what we can get, and if it's working, we're not gonna change it.
That's right.
It's the old motto: if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right.
That's
Absolutely.
what we stuck with in these past 2 games, and it paid off for us.
And so for the Providence Grove game, I've got a little note here. This is a scoring record for UP, 62 points in a game. That broke the record from 1990, Coach, against Western Hartnett, where the Vikings put up 61 points. 539 yards of total offense and 322 from the rushing game. 302 of these yards, Coach, came from one man.
Justin Eberhardt.
Incredible. Absolutely
averaged 11.6 yards a carry, 302 yards of rushing. Again, that offensive line is doing a great job. And what people don't understand is Polidori gets a lot of credit for these rushing yards because we do a lot of read game stuff.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
he has to identify his read man and then decide as soon as the ball snapped. He's got about half a second to decide if he's going to hand it off or if he's going to throw it. And this entire game, he kept giving a run read, and so he just kept handing it off. And so, those yards go to him because he's got to make the right read first. And then, once Eberhardt gets loose, it's Justin Eberhardt.
Oh, yeah. It's that hard man to bring down by far.
Yes.
4 touchdowns for Eberhardt. Like we said, 302 yards rushing on 26 attempts. I mean, these numbers are they're astounding. I mean, just out of this world. Want to talk about, your efficiency for third down. You had a 50% third down efficiency, 6 of 12.
Mm-hmm. Anytime that you can be 50% or better on third downs, that's going to be a pretty good night for your offense.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can hold them to 25% or less on defense, then you're doing a pretty good job on third downs.
Absolutely, Coach. Together, you're passing overall. I believe you had 3 quarterbacks involved. They were 14 for 21. Once again, amazing passing stats. To complement Polidori's performance in St. Paul's.
I was really impressed with all 3 quarterbacks. We even got a freshman in there this
Mm-hmm.
week, and he threw 2 passes and had 2 completions. He's doing a great job. Yeah, Ethan McKay.
Yeah.
Ethan McKay done a great job of coming in and running the system and doing what he had to do to make things happen. And when you have young guys like that stepping in and growing and maturing in a varsity situation, that's always something to look forward to in the future.
That's awesome, Coach. Building that program and keeping everybody involved, that's incredible. Talking about your receiving core, Robert Garzo, he was 4 receptions for 51 yards with 2 touchdowns. I believe he plays a little bit of a tight end position for you as well.
Yeah, for lack of a better term, it's a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
He does split out a lot and stand up in the slot,
Yeah.
but it is truly our tight end position. He did a great job finding open windows, getting up the field after the catch, getting into the end zone, running through people on one of them to get into the end zone. It was an awesome night for Garza.
Awesome, man. And let's see, looking down here too, 5 of 6 of your receivers with double-digit receiving yards. Once again, Coach, to complement the efforts from St. Paul's, even though you weren't a pass-heavy game, those stats, I think any coach would be proud of those.
Anytime that we have, 6 different guys touching the ball, that's, distributing the ball evenly and taking care of, the ball and putting the ball where it needs to go and not, relying too much on one man. So the defense can, set up and pick on that one guy if you have, one receiver that you go to all the time. And I don't think that we have that right now. We have a very spread around offense.
Absolutely, Coach. That's awesome to hear. For your defensive effort, 3 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. Once again, 12 of your defensive players with a registered tackle. Just incredible. We have Chandler Barber here with a pick 6. We have Martin Smith here with a forced fumble and a recovery.
Martin had a great night. He had 11 tackles, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Chandler did a great job playing corner for us. Broke on a pass and ended up catching it and taking it to the house for us.
Yeah.
So, our defensive effort is just improving week by week, and that's all we can ask.
That's right. And, to complement the offensive efforts, man, putting up 62 yards, the defense has to be there to shut the other offense down. And looking at these stats here, it looks as if I don't think there's anybody that can score points with you guys, because it looks like the entire game is starting to come together.
Well, we're just going to keep focusing on doing the little things right, and when you take care of the ball and you spread it around and you take care of all the little things, the points will happen.
That's right.
We're not focused on scoring a lot of points. We're not focused on breaking records or anything like that. We just want to take care of the ball, take care of our own things, and win ball games.
I like it, Coach. So I think we've now have exhausted both games. We're ready to get into some highlights.
Let's get to the highlights.
All right.
It's John Ambrose, student section leader here, and I'm here to introduce some of the players of the week for us today.
Yes, thank you for joining us, John. We're really excited to have you here.
Yes, sir, I'm glad to be here. So 2 weeks ago, we faced off against St. Paul's, and the timeout offensive player of the week was Josh Polidori.
Josh Polidori, timeout offensive player of the week against St. Paul's. Threw for 5 touchdowns. Did a really good job of taking care of the ball and getting it to who he needed to get it to. So, Josh Polidori, congratulations, timeout offensive player of the week.
Awesome. And the Texas Roadhouse defensive player of the week was Kamal Fairley.
Kamal Fairley had 11 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, had a 2-point conversion on a trick play. He just did everything that we asked for him. Sorry, Texas Roadhouse defensive player of the week, Mr. Fairley.
Awesome, awesome. So now we're going to go to Providence Grove. And the timeout offensive player for that week was Justin Eberhard.
Timeout offensive player for Providence Grove, Justin Eberhard. I don't think there was any other choice to go with here. When you have 302 yards rushing and you average 11.6 a carry and you have 4 touchdowns, you're obviously doing something right. And part of that credit goes to that offensive line that we talk about so much. They're doing a great job of opening up running lanes for Justin. So our timeout offensive player of the week, Justin Eberhard.
Yeah, Justin always shows up on that field. And then the Texas Roadhouse defensive player of the week was Martin Smith.
Martin Smith had a really big night. He had over 10 tackles, had a forced fumble, had a fumble recovery, did a really good job on defense as a senior leader there. So Texas Roadhouse defensive player of the week, Martin Smith.
All right. And I know we didn't get to do our coach of the week for St. Paul's, but who was our coach of the week for Providence Grove?
Our coach of the week for Providence Grove was Coach Ray. Coach Ray coaches our running backs. And anytime that one of your players has 300 yards rushing, you obviously did something right that week at practice. So congratulations to Coach Ray, our coach of the week.
All right. And then I just want to talk a little bit about our student section for this upcoming game. We are facing off against Randleman at good old Will Hoyt Stadium. And it is Military Appreciation Night. So that means we are going to deck it out in USA. We are hoping to make it our biggest student section yet throughout the year, throughout all the years. And we're just excited to cheer on our Vikings.
We really appreciate the student section support. Game number 1 when we were at home, the student section was lit, as you guys say. We really appreciate the loudness and the things that y'all do. So we really look forward to a really big student section this Friday night at Will Hoyt Stadium.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Thank you for joining us, John.
Yes, sir. It's glad to be here.
So, Coach, it looks like I've got some competition for my job here. Mr. Ambrose came in, did a great job introducing our players of the week. He's a fantastic kid, man. I've got to know him, over the past year. He's our student section leader. I'm glad to get him involved in the show too, man.
He's excited to have him.
He's going to bring
his energy. Is awesome.
He's just incredible kid all over. Glad he could come in and do that. Look forward to seeing him on some further episodes. So coming back from the players of the week, we're going to talk about our Buffalo Wild Wings VIP tent. Your Vikings are back home this Friday, September 8th. Against the Randleman Tigers, game time 7 p.m. So, Coach, how can they go and vote on this Buffalo Wild Wings?
Buffalo Wild Wings VIP tent was a huge hit, the first home game. So you can go to the website. It's www.ncmcs.org/VikingFootball. Go place your bids there. We do have a opening bid already put in for this week at $120. All the proceeds from that go directly to our team to feed pregame and postgame meals for our kids. So we really appreciate the support, and thank you to Buffalo Wild Wings for providing 100 wings for you to sit on the field and enjoy the game at Will Hoyt Stadium.
Absolutely. I believe you had some very special guests for the first VIP tent, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did. My entire family, aunts and uncles and parents, purchased the VIP tent for my first game as a head coach. That was really special and neat to have them there. But now whoever gets the winning bid will get to sit there in a unique spot and enjoy some good wings, some cold sodas, and watch the game.
That's right. So we got the Buffalo Wild Wings VIP tent. Once again, your Vikings are back home this Friday, September 8th, against the Randleman Tigers. Game time 7 p.m. That's at Will Hoyt Stadium. And as John alluded to earlier, this is going to be Military Appreciation Night. So for all of you students out there, come dressed in your red, white, and blue. And we'll turn this thing out. We'll get lit again, Coach.
Also, for Military Appreciation Night, I'd like to invite all veterans and current members in our service to come out and enjoy the game. We'll have some special announcements and recognition for you guys that is pretty special. And we would also like to thank you for your service.
Absolutely. Thank you all for your service. And Coach, we're just going to throw out a couple more things happening this week. We've got our JV game Thursday. This is going to be in Randleman. Game time is 6:30. That's September 7th. So Thursday, JV guys are away.
Our JV guys have been patiently waiting for a game.
Absolutely.
They've been practicing for so long, over a month of practice without a game. So hopefully, barring any weather issues, they can get this game in because they are really ready to play, and that JV team has come a long way through practice, and I'm excited to see them in some live action.
Absolutely. I can't wait till they come back home and we'll get to see them in some live action as well. Also, we want to throw out there that our middle schools, they will be participating in a middle school jamboree Wednesday. That's going to start at 4 o'clock September 6th. And
yes, we would like to give a shout out to Coach Wright at Cranes Creek, Coach Clothier at New Century, our future Vikings. We want to support those guys and wish them good luck in their opening jamborees.
Opening jamborees there. So, Coach, I believe we're coming down to the end of this episode. Absolutely jam-packed. Being off a week, got 2 games to talk about. But I think we've covered about everything you can cover.
Yes. One more thing I would like to mention: our athletic department is doing a mattress sale fundraiser to support all of Viking athletics. That will be this coming Saturday. If you're in the market for a mattress, come out. There will be a huge showroom inside of the gym with some top quality mattresses that you can get your hands on for a very, very good price, and all proceeds help our athletic department at Union Pines.
So if that bed that you got at home, the springs are going out on it, or that sleep number's not working for you, come down to the mattress sale and get your mattress. Help the Viking athletics out. So we'll go into some things here. Once again, we'd like to thank Buffalo Wild Wings for sponsoring our VIP tent. As always, we'd like to thank Time Out for hosting us here, man. I think it gets better and better every week, Coach.
It does.
Also, we'd like to thank Texas Roadhouse for sponsoring our Defensive Player of the Week. And we'd like to give a shout out to our Viking staff and administration. They're so supportive of us doing this. And just from my personal perspective, I'd like to give a very special thank you to the Viking community, to the staff, to the the parents, to the football players, to the students. You guys have been fantastic. For me personally this week, it's definitely been an emotional, definitely been a wild and crazy week. But without your love and support, guys, I wouldn't be back here today. So thank you so much, Viking community. You guys are amazing, and we're glad that we can come here and do this and put this on for you. So.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us here, Justin. We really appreciate the time and effort you put into this show.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach. And as always, stay Viking strong, people, and we'll see you this Friday, September 8th, 7 o'clock, as your UP Vikings take on the Randleman Tigers. We'll catch you at Will Hoyt Stadium. Have a good day.
Thank you, and go Vikings.